Good afternoon, everybody. Adewale, OjunBadejo, Vice President of Workforce Development for Grid Alternatives. I'll start off by saying this is personal to me, this space, because it's something that has allowed me to create a career for myself, and it's why I'm here where I am today. So, from a workforce perspective, I've seen the opportunities that it provides for the communities we serve. Anytime you build out infrastructure, you create jobs. And in this case, we're talking about clean energy jobs that we can do right in our communities, and that can be a way to move our communities forward. So I'll speak to more about it later. But from a grid perspective, Grid, along with nearly 60 other grant recipients across the country, was officially notified by the EPA, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, that the Solar Fall program's funding totaling $7 billion was terminated. The Solar Fall program was set to provide funding to 60 entities that plan to create or expand existing low-income solar programs. It would have enabled 900,000 households nationwide in disadvantaged communities to utilize solar energy to reduce their home energy bills. Grid and its affiliate, Tribal Energy Alternatives, were awarded nearly $330 million in 2024 by the EPA. This funding was slated to launch the Solar Access for Nationwide Affordable Housing Program, with goals to provide solar energy to families in affordable housing across the country, as well as the Western Indigenous Network, working with tribes through our Solar for All program, to support Native American tribes pursuing energy sovereignty opportunities. And I was just in Minnesota yesterday, and the work that they're doing in tribal nations is amazing, and the need for energy sovereignty in tribal nations is very much needed. Grid was also granted subawards from other prime awardees who were eager to work with Grid. EPA's efforts to terminate these solar fall programs directly affect Grid's ability to work with entities nationwide to build solar power for households that need the most assistance. Building on Grid's work over the last 2 decades, Grid has worked diligently with various partners and stakeholders to expand our mission to build community-powered solutions to advance economic and environmental justice through renewable energy in those disadvantaged communities through grants. The termination notices for this funding are disappointing for both Grid and the communities it seeks to partner with and serve. Grid prides itself on being the nation's largest nonprofit of clean energy technologies, and we believe in a system where policymakers act in the best interest of the American people. According to the U.S. Energy Administration, 34 million households across America are energy insecure. Solar for All was poised to reduce the burden for average Americans, and the EPA's recent action will mean more American families will continue to have to decide between basic human needs and electricity. No matter the political climate, Grid takes seriously the responsibility of continuing to develop and implement renewable energy projects that serve economic and environmental justice communities. By the end of the spring of 2029, our programs were projected to deliver strong returns on the investment for taxpayers, serving over 40,000 households and generating $541 million in savings and creating more than 6,700 job training opportunities. Operating across 30 states and territories, the program was also expected to avoid 3.4 million tons of CO2 emissions, the equivalent of taking 730,000 cars off the road for 1 year, and are planting 56 million trees and letting them grow for a decade. So just imagine how it would have cleaned up our communities. At a time when millions of Americans are struggling to pay their energy bills and climate-fueled disasters are becoming the new normal, now is not the time to claw back funding. We need to scale programs like these, not shrink them. There's a hunger across the country for lower energy bills, a way to keep the lights on when there's a big storm, and cleaner, healthier air. Grid has been working to serve communities for 20 years, So we are no stranger to creating solutions that support these needs. And it's tragic that as a country, we aren't doing everything we can to expand access to real everyday solutions. But despite the setback, we'll continue to work with our partners, to dream and to push to ensure that clean energy from the sun is for all of us. Thank you.